Okay, hello, my name is Adrian Pon from the Wealth Catalyst, and I'm also the originator of the Ripple Effect workshops. I'm here today with Tony Hall of GreenBizCheck, and the reason I have him here today is because not only is he a case study of what I'm talking about, he's also a solution to people who want to make a difference in the environment. How are you, Tony?
Good, Adrian.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about GreenBizCheck, what you've created with that.
GreenBizCheck is the world's first online environmental certification company. It's for businesses. We started the company 3 years ago, and the idea of the company was to make it very, very easy for businesses to go green.
Excellent. So what does it mean to go green?
We developed a checklist, and we did a lot of research internationally and developed a checklist of over 250 items that a company can practically implement. And they go through an assessment process, they implement actions, and they reach bronze, silver or gold certification in recognition for their efforts. So the program is designed to save companies money, it's designed for them to attract new clients, it's designed to help them attract and retain staff, and also to prove to the wider business community that they're really looking after the environment and doing the right thing.
Excellent. So how does it save them money?
There's a lot of initiatives in there around water waste, paper savings, energy savings. Through every operation that a typical business does, there's a lot of little things that when they're done can save companies many thousands of dollars.
Excellent. So is an example of that like solar panels where they actually generate electricity for their own use as well as perhaps maybe any additional electricity selling it back to the grid?
I think in the future that'll happen as more and more offices or buildings can have access to slightly lower cost solar panels and put them on there, but most of our clients are in rental premises, so they don't really have a lot of control over the infrastructure itself. Having said that, more and more building owners are doing that, adding solar panels as the technology becomes more efficient and cheaper. Some of the best examples for our clients are simple things like switching off computers, switching off lights. You only have to look at any CBD in this country at 11 o'clock at night and half the office buildings still have their lights on. So there's huge energy savings just from simple things, but also technology is becoming very energy hungry, and a lot of companies don't switch off their technology at night. But that's just on the technology side. But there's a whole bunch of other things. Paper use, for example. The average office uses around $400 per person in paper a year. A lot of that paper is just wasted. It's invoices that are going out on paper when they can easily be done by email, documents that can be stored electronically rather than in large filing cabinets. And the additional cost of storing paper is in rental cost. Companies that are having paying per square metre to store paper, it's quite a waste of money.
Absolutely. Wow, they sound like very practical tips. Excellent.
Yep.
So how do you achieve such practical results from, you said there was a checklist of 250 items.
That's it.
So how do you achieve that practicality of helping the business do that?
Well, we had to put ourselves in the position of the typical business owner. We're all really busy. We don't have much time. We want to do the right thing by the environment, but we don't know where to start. And that's where GreenBizCheck came into effect. We really wanted to make it easy yet comprehensive for companies. So we developed measures that were actually really practical, and a lot of it's behavioural change. The simple little things that we can be doing differently that will benefit not only the environment, but the bottom line of a business as well. It needs to make financial sense as well as environmental sense.
Excellent. I think that's where you would be different from other solutions where a lot of them are usually costs, aren't they?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, we were very conscious of that we didn't want companies to have to really pay much. That's the other thing too. In our pricing strategy, we're pricing our annual certification at a level that even the smallest and most, I guess, frugal business can afford certification, because we didn't want companies to feel they couldn't get their business green certified because they couldn't afford it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm familiar with the process of getting certified, and quite often there's a lot of cost when it comes down to auditing and approvals and so forth, aren't there?
Yeah, so we've just added an auditing function now that it was the extra level we really needed in our program. We wanted an independent party, although we're an independent party, two companies, and we wanted another party to audit and verify that the actions that companies were taking were actually real and they were doing something. So we're working with Bureau Veritas now, the world's largest certification body. 44,000 staff members worldwide, 150 odd offices. These are the big guys, very, very well recognised.
Yeah.
And they provide verification that our certification is really good and it's top class. There is nothing like it in the world. And we're the only, as I mentioned before, online comprehensive certification program in the world. We're in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, we're about to go to the US, and we're about to expand into Europe as well.
Excellent.
So our goal is to help green as many businesses around the planet as we can.
Excellent, excellent. And you also mentioned getting more clients for the business when they take on GreenBizCheck certification. Yes. So how does that happen?
Well, there's a lot of research out there that everyone is becoming more and more eco-conscious. At home, we're more conscious about buying recycled products, for example, and environmentally friendly cleaning products at home. In the workplace, we need to be doing the same. And so more and more companies, their customers are selecting them based on environmental credentials. People will choose to deal now with a company that has good environmental standing over one that doesn't, for example. So the more and more educated people are about the environment and what's happening out there, the more they're going to be seeking out companies to buy products from that are environmentally friendly.
Excellent. Do you have an example of one of your clients, a type of business and the kind of clients that they were able to attract?
Yeah, one of our biggest clients is Corporate Express. They're owned by, their parent company rather, is the Staples Group, which is the largest office products company in the world. And Corporate Express here have a very extensive range of environmentally friendly office products. So we're working with them because we want our clients to be implementing green purchasing strategies and buying recycled paper, recycled pens, products that are environmentally friendly. So here's an example of a client that is GreenBizCheck certified, Corporate Express, that's getting more sales because we're helping highlight their environmentally friendly product range.
Excellent. So what I'm gathering or what I'm hearing behind what you've said is that they didn't actually push the environmental options that they actually did have. Is that correct?
No, they've been marketing it to a certain extent, but we're giving them just the extra level of exposure here that we're helping customers source good quality product that they might not have even known there. The Corporate Express sales team, for example, has a really good story to tell when they're in their marketplace. They're not just selling paper anymore. They're able to talk a story about, hey, this is an environmentally friendly paper range. If you do need to use paper, please use this paper because it is much more environmentally friendly than the imported stuff that might be made from virgin rainforest, for example, which is bad on all counts.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I really get that. And not only are they doing a better sales job and helping the environment at the same time, you and I are both talking about them, aren't we?
Well, that's right, yeah, and they get a lot of PR and publicity from it. They've won a lot of awards for their activities there. One of our other clients in Canberra won a Telstra Business Award, and part of for corporate and social responsibility. And part of their win was because they had GreenBizCheck certification. They had a real verification that they were a green business, and they really were making an effort in their contribution to the planet. So many companies talk about, yes, we're a responsible environmental citizen, but we're able to provide companies with the proof that they are through certification.
Excellent, excellent. And do you have any small business examples, more grassroots type businesses?
Yeah, we're finding we've got another company in Sydney that won a major tender overseas in New Zealand because they were the only one that was tendering that had environmental certification, and so that helped them stand out from their competitors. And when they went through their tender debrief, they were told that they won the business because they were the only ones that did have environmental certification. So that's a real world example of how it's a hugely profitable thing to do. Michael Porter recently said to a major congress here in Australia that the time has come that it makes financial sense to implement sustainable business practices now.
Yes, and I think the people, as you said, are buying more environmentally sustainable options, and they are recycling and reducing their own waste. So it does make sense that the people who are doing it themselves would want the companies that they deal with to actually do this.
Yeah, that's right.
You've also mentioned staff retention. Tell me more about that.
Okay, well, the younger generation or the Y generation staff that are coming through are very educated on the environment, and they've been learning in schools how to recycle and how to switch off, and because regardless of whether you believe in climate change or carbon taxes or whatever, our planet only has a finite amount of natural resources. Our population is going through the roof. As you know, we've just hit 7 billion people, and the forecasts are for rapid growth, and our planet can only sustain a certain population. There's huge pressure on our food stocks and on our air quality. So the younger generation coming up are really going to have to face these issues as population explosion occurs, and it's going to be a really, really real problem for them. So they're very conscious about that, and there's been research that shows that they will choose to work for an environmentally friendly company over one that's not. So that's why it's also very important for the corporate sector, if they want to attract and retain staff, to really have independent environmental credentials rather than just talk a big game and not actually get certified to do so.
Excellent. And I'm really glad to hear that, because I myself, I do sort through my rubbish before I throw them out. And,
great.
So all the more so in a work environment. You did mention a contentious issue, the carbon tax, and a lot of people have their own beliefs around how bad the environmental situation is. But regardless, as you said, a change is needed. But the government's taking a very strong position on a carbon tax or or whatever name they call it. How do you think that's going to impact with small businesses?
With small businesses?
Yeah,
Look, I don't think small businesses is really going to affect them at all. Okay. I mean, I think electricity prices are going up regardless. They always will, they have been, and they're going up regardless because electricity is so inefficient to produce. You imagine it, we dig coal out of the ground, we then we boil it up to create steam, and then steam drives turbines that generates electricity that gets transferred across power lines thousands and thousands of kilometres, and so much of it's lost over transmission. It's not a very efficient way to generate energy anyway. And our infrastructure is getting older, it's costing more to maintain it. Our power stations are getting older, costing more to maintain them, so the price is going up anyway. So I really think there's been a lot of media hoo-ha about it, and it is an emotional issue, but what we're really pleased about, it's really creating environmental awareness one way or another. It's really getting people thinking about, hey, regardless, energy is costing us a lot of money, we've got to look at alternatives. We've got to look at renewable energy sources, ones that are clean. And, we've got fantastic sunshine in this country, as you know. We've got a lot of resources to do that, but we've got to invest. We've got to invest in some of these renewable technologies because they're not quite that efficient at the moment, but we need to develop better renewable energy so that we can help everyone. But going back to your question as far as small business goes, look, I think I think costs are going up regardless for everybody. I don't think any one sector is going to suffer more than the others. The big guys are making super profits anyway. It's not really going to affect them that much. They're just going to lift their prices. I think we're all going to suffer from rising energy prices, which we were anyway. And so in Biz4, what is the impact on business in general, other than for small bit? I get your point that everything is going to go up anyway, as they have. What about the business environment in general? With a carbon tax?
With a carbon tax.
I think more than anything, it's made people more aware of their energy use, which is a good thing. People are going to start measuring and monitoring and thinking, well, how do we reduce our energy use? I think that's a great outcome. Financially, look, we've got most companies now in this country are making sizable profits anyway. If we're going to sustain our planet, it can't be all about constant profit growth. It needs to be about having a future for us all that's not just about profit at any cost. It's about protecting our natural resources and having more left for future generations.
Excellent. And how does GreenBizCheck fit in the whole debate and also being proactive about the whole situation? Okay,
well, we try and stay out of the political debate because there's a lot of point scoring goes on. There's a lot of media hype that is there to generate media interest. We just keep our heads down and we say to companies, look, if you want to get started, we've done all the work for you, all the research. Just go through our program. There's a lot of information for companies to look at. There's a lot of ideas to help them. We've got a blueprint for companies, basically. So that's our contribution, to provide a blueprint for companies to green their business in a very practical manner.
Excellent, excellent. And so all this sounds really, really complex, like what you've created, and because you're providing such a structure and infrastructure to actually create this outcome that not only results in a sustainable future of the earth, but also that businesses can become more efficient and actually save money. So why did you start the business?
We started the business because we really wanted to help companies to be more environmentally responsible. We needed to make it simple for them to do so. Mm-hmm. We knew this stuff was coming. I mean, people like David Suzuki have been talking about it since the 70s. Mm-hmm. We need to protect our natural resources. Mm-hmm. We started it because we wanted to create a business that really made us feel good about ourselves, that would attract high quality people that wanted to come and work with us, to really help spread the good word. We can now help office-based businesses. We help hotels now, pubs and clubs, retail businesses, IT companies, the list goes on. We've just created an education assessment now that helps schools and universities. Excellent. And we've already got them underway doing those projects, so we can cover almost the whole business sector now. And we needed it to be online because that's the future as well, that everyone's doing things online. They can do it any time of day, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, anywhere in the world. So right from the beginning we had this dream, my business partner and I, Nicholas Bernhardt, we had this dream that we wanted to create something that was on the web. We invested a lot of money to do that, but we knew that we could scale the business if we did, and we could use the power of the internet to spread the good word and to deliver the product as well.
So was it just that you were on the beach one day and the idea popped up, or how did that start?
Oh yeah, a lot of reading. Both Nicholas and I had read a lot about the environment. We'd been reading David Suzuki, saw Al Gore in person, and he's a very impressive individual. And whether you like him or not, he's done a lot to really get environmental issues into the mainstream. And our own Tim Flannery has written some fantastic books here in Australia, Australian of the Year, as you well know. And we're reading about this stuff, and we're thinking, how can we do something? How can we contribute? So more than anything, it's our contribution. And we knew if we set up a product that was commercially beneficial, then we can then fund bringing in good quality people. We've got a lot of great staff on our team, and we've got some really good business owners that are operating kind of under a franchise type situation that can help their local communities within a territory to really help them green their business throughout with their networks and have their own business that they can run. So we've got some very intelligent, mature people that are out spreading the word around Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, as I mentioned, and soon to the US and Europe as well.
And that's what I like about GreenBizCheck is that not only do you have a system that helps on one hand, you also you are creating an opportunity as well in doing so.
That's it.
So what, so I'm just curious whether you had this passion for the environment all along, like, were you one of those closet hippies or something like that?
No, we like to see ourselves as corporate environmentalists. We knew that if we used the shock and awe tactics of protesters, we wouldn't be able to really get the ear and the attention of the corporate sector. We knew we needed to have a professional consulting approach. My background is management consulting, my own firm, and also Ernst & Young before that, and then Nicholas, investment banking with some of the big guys as well. So we'd come from the corporate sector, so we knew we couldn't, we had to be very conservative in our approach, and we had to make it a commercially beneficial green change that companies go through. And we've got the help now of universities. We've got James Colopio on our board, for example, who is a professor of change management. So he helps a lot of our clients and our staff members and business owners think about the change process, because a lot of it is behavioural, as we talked about before.
Yes.
That people have to just change their ways. It's simple things like switching away from styrofoam cups for your coffee to bringing a mug to the coffee shop in the morning. They're just simple little behavioural changes that multiplied by millions of people have huge impact on the planet. So no, I didn't wake up one day, but I've always liked the outdoors and nature and the trees. I'd often go for walks amongst trees or at the ocean and enjoyed the purity of it to relax. And obviously the more you travel, the more you see a lot of pollution in developing nations now from substantial commercial growth. It's created a lot of pollution and waste. There's plastic everywhere. There's the Pacific garbage patch, which is just millions and millions and millions of pieces of plastic floating or swirling around in the ocean, all because the planet's growing so much and businesses constantly pumping out product that's not really that friendly for the environment.
Absolutely, yeah. I grew up in Asia, and as I was growing up, even 30 years ago, there were smogs,
Right.
and that's pretty much unheard of in some of the Western world as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So I always had that sense that that wasn't right. The environment that I was living in wasn't quite right. So when we came to Australia, back in the early 90s, what I was most impressed with was how far I could see.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The clarity in the air was just absolutely amazing. So, were there moments in your childhood, perhaps, that you had that sense that the environment was very important?
Well, we're really lucky here in Australia. I mean, you only have to go to London on a bad pollution day, or Los Angeles, for example, which is getting a bit better now. But I think a lot of it's getting better because they've moved all their manufacturing into China, and now China's polluting it all. So America's patting itself on the back a little bit for that. But definitely. I mean, just for health reasons. You don't want your children growing up in a dirty environment as well. We're so lucky in Australia that we're surrounded by oceans, and our land is really, really clean. You would argue that our impact on the planet here is only going to be minusculely, but if we set the example here, it will flood into other countries, and it will set an example for other countries. Just as things come out of America and TVs spread the word, then the environmental movement will get spread globally as well. There's a lot of stuff happening in Asia now. There's a lot of protection of the rainforests and of the animals, and there's a lot of awareness. We need government to be backing it and enforcing certain things as well, as far as pollution controls. And we've got some momentum now, but we've got to put the environmental momentum ahead of profit at all cost, I think, is what we're really facing now.
Excellent. So is there anything else you'd like to add to the small business owners who'll be listening to this? I
think to anyone that's listening to us here, I think you've got to take action. The cost is not much, the time is not much. Just start doing something. Be a leader, not a follower, I think is really important. Don't wait until it's legislated that every company must have an environmental program in place. Just make a bit of an effort here, regardless of your beliefs in climate change, carbon tax. It doesn't matter. Do it for future generations, do it for your staff, do it to really stand out as a business leader is what I would recommend companies to do.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tony, and really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Adrian. No, it's a pleasure.